Hello and welcome to the show. You're watching Girls Trip with LaVerne and Steffanie. I'm Steffanie Rivers.
And I'm LaVerne.
Hey LaVerne, how are you?
I'm doing great.
You know what? It seems as if I need to stop sharing my screen. It seems as if every time we go live, the way the production is supposed to go, it changes. But at any rate, we're live and we're glad to be here. How's everything going for you in Nashville?
It's great. It's a beautiful day.
It is. It is. Now, we have decided that on some of our days, we're going to invite some of our viewers to go live with us and talk about what's trending. So today is Wednesday, what's trending? And so hopefully we'll have some people to call in. We've already sent out the link to a few people, but if you are watching and you want the link, then you can text me at 214-919-9360. And I'm typing that in, 214-919-9360 for the link to sign in and be our pop-up guest today. As pop-up guest. All right, so there you are, and I've got my trusty smartphone right here that's going to let me know if someone calls. But what's trending in your world, LaVerne? What's going on with you?
Well, we're excited about the stimulus. We are happy that the COVID relief is coming to so many people that really, really need it. So we're pretty happy about that.
So does that mean more money for people? I mean, what's everybody so happy about? Because I know that they
I think 75,000 under, some said 80,000 under, they're going to get this $1,400. But I think it's going to be a little bit less if you make above 7,500. I'm not real sure. And then couples going to get the child tax credit. So, and then, also unemployment get extended. So that really is good news.
Yeah, it is. I'm just, hoping that people, it's one, I guess, I don't want people to have to depend on a politician to have mercy on them, although, they shouldn't. And although when they send me my check, I'm going to cash it. But I wish people would try to look ahead, think ahead, and not actually be waiting for them to approve a check, so that if they do approve it, it's like, you know what, that's good. And when I get mine, that's good, but not be in such dire straits that they're actually waiting for it, because that's just not a good position to be in, although I understand why we are in this position.
Okay, I accept your comment on that. But Steffanie, we have to also be realistic. There are some people who only make $7 an hour, and there are a few that makes less, and then there are those that make nothing. They're homeless. So they need that help. And I agree, the wiser people, irregardless to what they make, save a little something. And some are not dependent on the check. It's just extra. But we have to have compassion for those that truly do depend on the system.
Correct. And you've made a good point. So the sooner they send it, I did look I saw on one of the news channels that President Joe Biden was at the podium. I guess he's announcing what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's good. One of the things that I did see was there was a representative from Ohio, and he was upset at members of Congress because I think this bill, the stimulus package, no Republican voted for it, or at least a few, if any, voted for it. And he's like, look, y'all lined up to give rich people a tax cut when what's his name was president. Now when working everyday working class people need something, don't know how they want to give them no money, and these are the people you're supposed to be representing. So he said it, and that's good that he brought it up.
Now the
Now,
people gonna remind them in 2022.
and
You
you know
did not
what?
support the poor people that needed it. This $1,400 that these families getting is going to go back in the economy, because a lot of them going to go shopping. They're going to buy stuff that they couldn't buy. Blah blah blah. I mean, it's like, come on, it's going to really help.
Well, you know what? That's the thing, though. Are people going to remember? Now we have Latrice Fowler. She commented. Are you able to see the comments, LaVerne?
Yes, I see.
Okay, so
Latrice is in. Yeah.
she said the COVID-19 restrictions are being lifted here in Texas. That's a trending thing. We'll talk about that. While she said she doesn't agree with the governor on this decision. Her family and she are choosing to keep masking up.
Yeah. Good
So
point.
yeah, and thanks. That is something trending. If you are out there and you own a business and you want to be our guest and talk to us about how you plan to handle that, because I guess it started out as a statewide mandate, or didn't start that way, but eventually ended up as a statewide mandate, and now he's lifting it. So even if you are a city, municipality, or you have a business in a municipality, you can still choose to require your customers and constituents to wear a mask, or your employees. So it does get, confusing, and, different rules and regulations in different places when you have people who are not on the same page. And that's the thing. When it goes into politics, it's like things are happening so fast and so many issues are coming up. Are people going to remember? People have short memories. It's like when people come before you who did you wrong and didn't help you when you needed help, and said bad things about you and stole the money and had to go to trial, but they got acquitted and all this stuff. Then it comes time for re-election, then you vote for him anyway. I'm like, what the heck? Do you not remember all that these people did? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. The opposition should remind them, hey, remember? Yeah, definitely. Remember, you did not want this and they wanted this and this was going to hurt you. Now it's time to go to the poll and cast your vote.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Since I have you two ladies on here, you and Latrice, let me ask you guys a question. I was in a city yesterday, and I was like just actually just walking down the street, coming back from getting something to eat. And this guy started following me. And so, but by the time he started following me, because I make it a habit, and it was still daylight, and I make it a habit of looking behind me. So I know he wasn't behind me that long, maybe like less than 2 blocks, more than 1 block before I got to my hotel. And I know he was following me because when I saw him, I stopped. I have this thing that I do. I stop to let people pass that are behind me that I feel like, okay, what's going on? You too close. You just showed up. So I was stopping, and like I was doing some on my phone, and he stopped and said, hey, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm not from here. He said, well, I'm not from here either. He asked me my name. I told him my name. Then he said, my name is, and put out his hand to shake my hand. And I didn't shake his hand. Now, how would you handle that if a person they seem to be friendly, it seemed like he was trying to, say, hey, what's going on, and gonna have a conversation. But like, dude, I don't know you, and it's a pandemic. I'm not trying to like touch you. I ain't seen my mama in a year. You think I'm gonna touch a stranger? Come on now. So, what do you guys feel about that? Would you how would you have handled that? Do you think I handled it okay? Because you know, when he stuck his hand out, I just said, you know, nice to meet you, and then I just finished like I was finishing with my phone, and then walked into my hotel. So how would you have handled that? Because I don't want to come across as being standoffish or mean, but I'm like, okay, so how would you would have handled that?
Okay, I like Latrice, so social distancing. You know, Stephanie, I'm more of an affectionate person than you are because you are very like uh 50 feet type of person. But no, I would have just verbally said, "Excuse me, you know, I'm trying to practice social distancing. If you just got to have a touch, let's do an elbow bump or a fist bump and been through with it. That's all." And that way you wouldn't come off like you are like, that's like, let me say this. One time I was in the grocery store, it had just started, like, okay, that was March. And I reached over to get some meat. This guy jumped like somebody shot him. And I didn't understand why. Was this racist thing going on or what? What's going on? And then it dawned on me, that's right. Pandemic, he was trying to get out of the way. He tried to keep his distance. So we have to still be aware. And I like how Latrice laid the table, or should I say set the table with this discussion about the masking. Are we taking the mask off too fast?
Oh yeah. I mean, especially when we are at it seems like we're at the end of the curve. You know, we went up, had all these issues, and it seems like we're coming down on the other side of the curve. And now you want to like say, oh, go ahead and take the mask off. And especially when there's still, it's only 3 out of 32 million, no, 320 million people in America, right? It seems like only 3 million have they said have gotten vaccinated. So why would you, that's what, 1% or something? I'm not good with math, but it's not that 3 million out of 320 million. It's like, why would you do this now? It just it doesn't make logical sense. Even if you, I don't know, but I mean, short answer is yes. And Latrice says yes, it's too soon, and that's why she and her family are going to stay masked up. Because I went to the gym earlier, and they have changed the rules according to, you know, because when the governor talks, you know, you have to make some type of statement. And then they said, you know, just because they're trying to appeal to everyone, that when you are in passing or when you're doing stuff and people are around, please keep your mask on. But if you're off in the corner by yourself and nobody's over there, you might want, you know, it's okay if you pull your mask down or something. But you know, because still we want to respect other people's health concerns and all of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my understanding, the variance is making the numbers go back up. I pay attention to it. I have the Smart News app that actually keep up with the numbers and the stats. And the variance is making the numbers go back up. So why would you risk your community, your city, your state with removing the mask, you know, before this levels out? Once we get a consistent uh, level of numbers where there is no variance, there's no more challenges, then I could see it. But now it's just too risky.
So do you think they're doing that on purpose? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it's not on purpose. I'm saying it's a premature decision to tell everybody, okay, everything is back to normal. It's not back to normal.
Right, right. I agree. Um, One of the things that, you know, they've started, and I know when you and I, Laverne, when we discuss what are we going to talk about or our guests, I know that you, just like you said, I'm kind of like, "Ugh." when I meet people, let me go back to that. I can be very sweet because remember when you first met me, you said, "Oh, I thought you were gonna be mean." You didn't use the word mean, but you said out you didn't. Anyway, we turned out to be the best of friends, right? Because you ain't
Oh,
saying nothing.
Stephanie, I don't want to come off like that. Let me say this. You have this persona of professionalism. I admire it. I like it. But you're like that all the time. Like me, I'm warm and fuzzy all the time. That's just how I am too. So when I first met you, you came off that way. After a year meeting you, you still was that way. Then we've done projects together. We shot the reality show together. And that's what the complaints was. They're like, she just don't seem like. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, Steffanie is the.
Hold on. Complaints. Oh, you didn't. This
Well,
the first
the reality show, some of the ladies would say, she just not as easy to talk to as you. I said, but she is the sweetest. You have to get to know her and she has to feel comfortable with you. So you come up with as overly professional all the time. It's like, let your hair down, girl. Drink a cup of coffee and relax. But you're very rigid. But
You
yes,
know what?
I know that you can be very, very affectionate and kind in a different kind of way.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree. But and I don't know, it just takes me a while to warm up. And yes, I know that's a good word for it. I just try to be thorough with what I'm doing. And that's I would say is my complaint or not. That's the quickest word coming to my mind with people when they are doing business or people who say one thing and then they end up doing something else. I'm like, just do what you say you're going to do. If we're doing a project, then do the project. If we're doing something, a Zoom call, we got 5 people on the call and everybody, and then they start laughing and talking and getting off on something else. I'm like, look, I got something else to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I don't want to laugh and talk, but if my time, if this is when we said we were going to do this, let's do that because I got something else to do. And so I know I'm 53 and I'm still working on it. So I'm working on it, but Latrice says something about she thinks that the politicians are just doing something to do something. So they can be active, even if it's not productive. They want to be active, and that goes to somehow who I am as a person. I don't believe that you have to just do something to keep from doing nothing. Sometimes doing nothing is okay, especially when it comes to conversation or talking. You know how you might be in a room with somebody and y'all said all that there is to say, and then they start you can tell they're like forced to come up with something that don't make no sense, and they just want to. It's like it's okay for there to be silence. Don't feel like you have to, you don't have to. You have to force it, or you have to come up with something and it's with politicians. Sometimes just making sure everything is in order. That's okay. You don't have to come up with this strange memorandum or this strange, proclamation to say that I'm in control. I mean, we know you're the governor. We know you're the president. It's not always, you don't always have to be having something going on, in my opinion.
Well, I want to change the subject a little bit. Steffanie, get back on you again. I don't know. Today is your day. I would love to see you cast in one of the reality shows to see if you would relax with other women and not directing. When we did Ladies in the Pulpit, we were the directors and the producers. So we had a different role, but to see you interact with not even the housewives because they are too brutal, but I would love to see you cast in a reality show because you have Not only because you're brilliant, I mean, you're a Fulbright scholar. So that tells me you're smart anyway. So I just throw that out there for my
That's so
girl.
sweet,
But yeah, I'm
LaVerne.
just saying, not only because you're intelligent and smart, but you do have that demeanor that you could roll with Omarosa. Now, I got to put that out for you.
That's so sweet of you, and I appreciate it. And you're right. Depending on your role and whatever it is that you're doing, when as a producer, when we were producing that show, and we were trying to put together a pilot. We had cast members coming into Dallas. We had events we had to get to. We had limousines. We had to get people in scheduled for. We had to have hotels checked in. And so it's like I want to laugh and talk, and I did a little bit at the photo shoot that we had. I want to just chill, but somebody got to be in control and make sure y'all get there on time. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, okay, let's go. That really was a show by itself, trying to manage all the women that was like, oh, my hair, my nails, and so like, okay, we got to be over here, we got to be here, LaVerne, get this right, make sure. I mean, it was like, but we pulled it off. That red carpet production party was the bomb.
It was nice because, and we had singers and we had speakers, and it was really, it was awesome. So I guess that's, when you look at people who are in a position of authority or they're producing a show, and you think, oh, they're not nice, or it's like they just are trying to make sure everything flows so that people looking at the production can feel like, oh, this is well scheduled. They know what they're doing. They ain't playing with this. Instead of showing up and be like, well, where is everybody? Well, where, you know what I'm saying? And then we look all like we don't know what we're doing. So
yeah. And I would love to have a follow up with Snoop Dogg mom and Dr. Ann and all the other ladies. Even Latrice was there. You remember that?
Was she a
Latrice?
vendor?
Chime in. Latrice was there.
Was she a vendor or was she a guest? Because I thought she was she had a table, didn't she? A vendor?
And or both.
Okay.
It was too fun. But Snoop Dogg mom, I would love to know how she's doing and what she's doing now. And Dr. Ann and the other lady, she was a pastor too. Just follow with the cast members and see how they're doing now.
Right. It was Pastor Brodus Green, Evangelist Brodus Green from Los Angeles. Erica, forgot Pastor Erica from Dallas.
Was she from Belgium? She was
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Denise from Belgium. It was what's your friend's name in Lima, Ohio?
Felicia, yes, Felicia. I forgot about Felicia. But Denise is, I've never learned her name properly. Tachia. I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's from Belgium, and Dr. Ann from Florida.
From Jacksonville, Florida. So yeah, I mean,
Latrice remember. I remember Snoop Dogg mom. That's funny. I don't care how many shows you can do. There's always somebody that stands out. That's always memorable.
Right. And you know what? We did post some of the episodes of the show, but we had a whole lot more. And our goal was to produce the pilot and present it to some production companies and get it picked up. And we had some real life drama going on in there, didn't we?
I wish you would have went back to TLC. But your contact, I remember you saying she moved right on. So
yeah,
anyway.
So we came up with some other show ideas that we never voiced, that we never let people know about. So who knows, LaVerne? This might be our season.
Well,
But
maybe after this thing calms down and everybody vaccinated and nobody's scared to touch up, we can plan to do another shoot.
right, right. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show, but before we go, we are scheduled next week to have a doctor. Her name is Dr. Blake Gordon. She's out of Atlanta, and she's a neuropathic doctor. So she's gonna talk to us. You know, a lot of people are looking for ways to be more naturally healthy without medications or pharmaceuticals. And she's going to come talk with us about her practice and what you can do. So if you know anyone in Atlanta and they're looking for a neuropathic doctor or an acupuncturist, is how I met her. So we'll talk more about that. So a lot of people are afraid to put the needles in their body, and she's gonna explain what the benefit of that is. And as a matter of fact, I will look for the picture that I took of myself when I was getting. It was called cosmetic acupuncture, and that's when they put needles in your face and stuff. So I think I have a picture of myself when I did that, and so I will put that on display so you can
Okay.
see.
Yeah. I love acupuncture. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the show.
Uh, so do you get it regularly now?
No, not regular, but probably I would say once a year. I do, and I like it for the relaxation. And they do my ears and my forehead, and the
Once a year? Why
yeah,
once a
about
year?
once a year I'll go because I was like, man, what can I do different that feel good and blah blah blah. It's because I have other methods of doing the same thing without getting
Oh,
acupuncture, but I
okay.
like it because it helps with the blocking of the chakra. So
Right.
I'm very familiar with it. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm very familiar with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good, good. So then maybe you might teach me something, so I won't have to go out every 2 months. I mean, I go twice a month.
Okay.
That's why my skin be looking so tight.
It's glowing, girl. Yeah, look like you went and got some Botox and just ain't telling us.
No, no Botox.
Okay.
So at any rate, we want to thank Latrice for showing up and um, being a part of our show. And we're interested in we're interested in having other guests too. So next week, when we have Dr. Gordon on, if you want to actually ask Dr. Gordon a question, you can be a pop up guest. We can have a few guests at a time, as well as if you want to just text in or you want to live chat with us. So we thank everybody. Thank you, and see you next time, Latrice and LaVerne.
No
We
worries.
will see you as well. So if you have any pictures of some stuff that you do, you be sure and get those ready, and we'll try to share them.
Okay. Fantastic. All
All right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.